I do have skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
Those lines still there, eh? Oh, my notice is gone. Ladies and gents, we're just going to head back down to Waitakere District Court, see if the lines have gone or if they're still in existence. Planning on coming back in a couple of days, do another protest, because shit's got to change. They can't keep issuing tickets when there's conflicting signage, taking advantage of most people, just accepting them on their word that they've done something wrong and paying. Because I'm sure, you know, I do say everybody thinks they're guilty and just pays, but at the end of the day, they're taking Auckland Transport at its word that they've done something wrong and paying without question, because it's supposed to be beyond reproach, yeah? Well, at the end of the day, that's not what's happening. Clearly, they're doing things against their own rules and procedures, and just like anything I come across that's an error, if you don't complain, it doesn't get fixed. If you don't point it out, they don't know to fix it. A lot of people might turn around and think I'm being a shit stirrer. Quite frankly, I'm not. Most people would be sitting on their ass at home watching TV, or, you know, some soap opera or a sports game, or, you know, at least what I'm doing is helping others in one way or another. And if you don't think that's the case, then prove it. Because time and time again, I've had Auckland Council, I've had medical councils, I've had trespass notices which rescinded, I've had all sorts of successes, including the speeding ticket dismissed. So, you know, I'm putting my actions and my, you know, my money where my mouth is, so to speak. You know, it cost $160 to challenge the $80 speeding ticket, but like I say, it's about principle. You might think that's nuts, you end up paying twice as much. Well, no, because it was an excellent way of doing a practical test on everything that I'd learned to see if the system worked correctly or not. And clearly it didn't. It showed some resounding flaws in the Police Prosecution Service and the Ministry of Justice itself. You know? So, anyway, we're almost here now. Let's see if they're still there, shall we? Yep, still there. See, so anyone coming along is going to see that white car park there. And especially when the shadows are hitting, it covers up the very vague yellow markings there, so you don't even see them. Unless you get out and check your passenger side after you've parked, being the only one in the vehicle or in the car. Then you're not going to know you've parked on broken yellows, because on your driver's side you're seeing a white hockey stick and thinking it's a car park. So it's completely unlawful thing doing what they're doing. I wonder who's on today. Anyone? See, that guy there is about to park there because he thinks there's a car park. Anyway, so that's today, the 9th of January. 2019. Fault's still there. Reported to them on the 4th of December, and it was first made aware to them on the 25th of October when I responded to their infringement notice that they issued unlawfully because there is conflicting signage, instead of reporting the fault and getting it fixed. Hey Steve. So, yeah, moving on.
I called them and told them I was telling me to do it. And I've already seen one guy pull up and he drives off again once it's all the time.
Morning guys. Right, so over the last couple of days been having a back and forth email with a lady, Chantel Catherine Armstrong from Accounts Payable. Now you may recall in previous parts of the $60 saga that I called up Auckland Transport asking for who to contact in regards to sending an invoice to them. They gave me AP queries at at.govt.nz, which I did. Sent that through, no response for over a month, so then I sent a reminder notice to them. I then got a response from Chantel asking for a purchase order. Okay, purchase order, I simply gave her the name of the warden and his number and say they can have that for a purchase order. One wasn't given. So she then replies back and tells me that I've got to contact parking leases at business, which had no relevance whatsoever to an unpaid invoice, but she decided to tell me that I've got to go and email them. Then I asked her for the email and then realised she'd already sent it to me, apologised, and then she sent back telling me that parking leases are for businesses that want to lease car parks. Okay, I didn't actually ask about business parking. I didn't ask what parking leases was all about. It has no relevance to an unpaid invoice, so just the proverbial run around. So I've responded back to her this morning, and this is what I sent to her. Good morning, Chantel. There is no query or confusion on our part. Now this is in response to her telling me, hi Marco, I've been advised parking leases is for customers who lease our car parks. Again, completely pointless information, had nothing to do with an unpaid invoice. If your query, what's this if shit? If your query is to do with an infringement, you need to contact this business unit, infringements at at.govt.nz. I have no query in regards to the unlawfully issued infringement notice, which should not have been, because we're going to court on that. That is a separate matter. The fact that I've invoiced them for them entering into a tacit agreement by the parking warden using his discretion by entering into that agreement by posting out an infringement, which he shouldn't have done, and hence wasting a shitload of my time having to deal with it. Well, I don't know about you, but do you do shit for free? I don't, and it's only fair that I be compensated for the lot of dicking around and their job that I'm doing for them to correct their faults. And just like any company, one hand doesn't know what the other hand's doing, and they're completely oblivious to what's going on. This is why I put videos up, to make it all crystal frickin' clear to you all. There's no confusion, not on my part anyway. The same silence as acquiescence, or consent through passive acquiescence, or the same tacit agreement that forms that when I, or if anyone, parks in any car park space seeing signage, they're agreeing to those terms, and if they go outside that signage, they then get a fee or a fine. Exactly the same with me. I have signage on my private mode of conveyance, or personal private motor car. I have signage on it. They chose to issue the infringement after being notified. It's not my fault that the warden chose not to go up and actually read it, but those signs are there clearly visible. They entered into a tacit agreement by posting the infringement, and that's all there is to it. So, I'm going to give them a call in a second once I deal with this annoying cat, and see if Chantel has any other queries I can possibly help her with, because she seems confused. Hopefully that email that I send her is, and the email, reads like this. Good morning, Chantel. There is no query or confusion on our part, although it would seem there is on yours. We have supplied now on more than one occasion an invoice and following reminder for an administration fee that AT representative Steve, last name withheld, Warden 1126 has entered into a tacit agreement to pay on demand. In response, this was ignored for over a month. Then you respond asking for a purchase order, then refer to us to business leases, then tell us what business leases are for, having no relevance whatsoever in regards to the unpaid invoice incurred by Auckland Transport. This invoice is not in relation to the alleged infringement, which is set for the hearing on the 25th of January 2019. This invoice and now reminder is due to a tacit agreement being established by Steve exercising his tacit agreement being established by Steve entering his exercising his discretion to enter into a tacit agreement with us. The fact that instead of calling AT and reporting the conflicting road markings and have their errors at that location corrected, which we did after the fact for him, and instead chose to unlawfully issue a ticket when AT's own parking compliance training manual states it should not have been, is what has incurred this administration fee. As stated on the reminder, if Auckland Transport chooses not to honour this agreement and the balance owing remains outstanding, AT will be sent a final demand, and if not paid, a claim will be lodged in Disputes Tribunal, which shall incur additional fees. Again, don't do shit for free. Please pay the outstanding amount due of $75 without any further delay. If not, you have been informed of what will follow. Why ask for a purchase order? Why direct us to a department which has nothing to do with accounts payable? Why then state what that department is in relation to? We have no interest in leasing and parking from AT. Notice all correspondence shall be published on multiple forums for maximum accountability and transparency in accordance with New Zealand Bill of Rights Act 1990 Section 14. My personal fave. Have a great day, me. So, because Chantel has been so lovely as to supply me her direct dial number, which is 44744278, or 3553553 extension 9278. Because she's been so lovely, I'm just going to give her a call and talk to her directly and see if there's any more confusion that she's suffering from.
Speaking.
Hi Chantel, how are you this morning?
Good, thanks.
Awesome. Sorry, I can hardly hear you. There's a lot of noise on the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've responded to your email I got yesterday. My name's Mark.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Regards to the invoice, there seems to be some confusion on your part. I'm curious as to why you're sending me to parking leases, and this is simply an invoice for $75 that remains outstanding.
Okay, so my question is, you're not a vendor in our system, right?
Yeah.
So for us to process an invoice, we need a purchase order?
Yeah.
Or we need somebody from the business to prepare documents that they will send to us so that we can process it. So I can't put your invoice in because I got no way, there's no way I can process it without a cost code or a purchase order, because somebody needs to pay for it. So what you need to do is, what I needed to understand was, what is the fee for? What's the?
It's my administration fee for processing the infringement notice that was unlawfully issued to me.
Okay, right. So what you need
you might notice on the original invoice, on second or third page of that invoice, you can see a notice that's clearly posted on our private vehicle or private motor conveyance, and it states quite clearly, any issuing or posting any infringement notice shall incur a fee. Now, the warden has his discretion to issue that infringement or not.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he chose to issue it he's entered into an tacit agreement to pay my fees on demand for processing that. Just like anybody charges for processing, there's an administration.
Yes, I agree.
As to having an account, I mean, I don't have an account with the fish and chip shop, but when I go in and order something, I pay for it.
Yeah, I do understand what you're saying, but what I'm trying to say is you contacted accounts payable to pay your invoice, and I'm giving you my side of how we process stuff. Okay. I can't put your invoice in and process it because there needs to be authorization from the business. Somebody needs to pay for it. Auckland Transport's got so many business units, and each of them got a project code or a department code where they charge these costs to that comes out of their budgets. So for your invoice, if I put it in the system, how is it going to get paid? Because somebody needs to give me their. Well,
then I would refer it to the parking warden because he's the one that entered into the agreement with us by doing that.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with me. I'm in a different business
unit.
Well,
yeah, granted, and your account's payable, and this is an invoice that requires payment. So it's not like no point sending me to parking leases because they have nothing to do with accounts payable, do they?
No, but accounts payable, we don't make decisions to pay invoices. So that invoice, that your email needs to be sent to the parking people for the warden that issued the ticket, because you need to explain to them, because I had no background information on what you were charging us for.
Well,
I basically had a bit of an idea. That's why I said to you, you need to go to parking leases and explain why you're giving us the fee, what happened, and you need to liaise with them, and they will prepare the documents and send it to us for processing.
Yeah, I'm somewhat. It seems very Mickey Mouse the way that works, because quite simply to me, it's an invoice. I send it to accounts payable. I should be paid for it. Not having an account with Auckland Transport and all of the rest of how your internal processes work has no bearing on me whatsoever.
Yes, I do understand. Yeah, I do understand. But in each business unit,
call centre, I didn't get. All I was given was your email address to send the invoice to. They had no idea what to do or who to direct me to.
Yeah, they won't.
So can you give me the?
Center, yeah.
So who do I contact to get paid?
Okay.
I don't want to spend hours and hours and hours chasing this.
Yeah, I do understand. I'm going to put you through to, because parking is also such a big organization, because we've got the parking for our car parks, and so give me your number, and I will get the information that I need for you. And I will contact you once because I don't, as you say, you don't want to be sent around the business. So your number is 027, is that right? And it's Mark.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mark, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll try and find out who I can send your query to, and get
invoices. Honestly, it's not a query. It's just an invoice that requires payment.
Yeah, I do understand what you're saying, but that decision doesn't lie with me. It actually has to go to the parking people that deal with infringements, and sure. They have to prepare paperwork and get it authorized to send to us for your payment. So I will try and see if I can find somebody that I can actually forward your invoice onto, and hopefully they'll get back to you by today. So just give me until this afternoon.
Sure.
Okay. Thanks, Mark.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Again, such a big business, so many companies to deal with. It's a simple $75 invoice that was incurred by their warden using his discretion to unlawfully issue me a ticket when he shouldn't have. It's that simple, and irrespective of whether or not the ticket was issued lawfully or not, he has his discretion to issue that ticket. In his incorrect and perjured report details, he states driver returned. Well, then why didn't he go up and tell the driver not to park there and to move? Isn't issuing an infringement supposed to be the last resort? Or could it be that he wasn't even there when he saw the driver return and leave? Could it be that he'd already walked around and taken off down another road before that even happened? Could it be that when he's marking road markings and he's ticked yes as into whether or not they're okay, could it be that was wrong? It was a lie, because the photos prove it. Could it be that he didn't take sufficient photographic evidence in accordance to page 126 of their Parking Compliance Trainings Manual showing the actual offence being committed, because his photo shows no broken yellow lines? Could it be that's why they went back on the 15th of November, over a month later, and took more photos of that site, which still doesn't show that car committing an offence? Those photos show an empty car park on the 15th of November. What does that have to do with the price of fish? Do you get my point? So it's getting interesting, it's getting fun. I've got them looking for things now, but at the end of the day, it's not good enough. And if they don't pay, disputes tribunal, and then they can figure out amongst themselves who they're going to send to court to pay. And if they don't show up, you know, I will be. So it kind of looks bad if you don't show up to answer a claim in court, doesn't it? I think summary judgment might fall into effect there, and you might end up having to pay because you can't show up and defend yourself, because I'm the plaintiff and you guys will be the defendants. You don't like it when the shoes switch to the other foot, do you? Anyway, that's the end of it for this clip. Catch you later.